Well, last time we were in Minneapolis, this happened for 3 consecutive days. And so there's makeup time at Target Field. And the good news is the weather is brilliant for 2 games, a straight doubleheader starting in just a short while. Sox and Twins getting together for 2 today. Thanks for joining us once again. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and Adam Engel certainly is very happy to play 2 games. He's on quite a hot streak.
Sox coming off a great series, and Adam Engel was a big part of it. And in that series, he was 4 for 11, hit the ball out of the ballpark, showed his speed, and everything going very well for him. He was pulling the ball, he was hitting the ball away, and doing a nice job of it. So because of his defense, if he takes the ball the other way and bunts occasionally, he's going to do a good job. And this one just barely far enough, but it gets the job done. You'd have to say that Engel has been red hot, but they got a guy who's been red hot also.
You're alluding to, I think, the guy in the number 2 spot in game number 1, Eddie Rosario.
Eddie Rosario has been all everything for this team for quite some time. And against the Indians on Sunday, he hit 3 out of the ballpark. Now, he didn't take him long out of the ballpark, but you don't have to. Just far enough could be the moniker of Rosario as he's coming alive. It could very well be that he's going to be the best of all of those young prospects that the Twins brought up at the same time. That turned out to be a walk-off, and Rosario just stinging the baseball right now. He's got a 9-game hitting streak. During that streak, he's driven in 12 and hit 4 home runs.
He's part of the reason the Twins won 3 in a row against Cleveland, but today they have to deal with Reynaldo Lopez.
A couple of really good hard-throwing youngsters on the mound. We've got Lopez, and they've got Romero. Reynaldo Lopez going to the mound after no decision, but he didn't throw it real well. And the same thing could be said of Fernando Romero. He had a real tough time, 9 hits, 8 earned runs. That was at Kansas City. This guy's got 97, 98 in his back pocket, as does Ronaldo. So it's 2 young, hard-throwing guys. Hopefully one is consistent, and that one, our guy.
That's game number 1, game 2 to follow afterwards. Sox and Twins in a twin bill from Target Field where the sun is out, and that's the only news you need. Sox baseball is next.
Toyota, let's go places. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, through it all. By Lexus, who encourages you to experience amazing. And by Miller Lite, the original light beer. Miller Lite, hold true.
Hey, look, it's sunny out in Minneapolis. That means we can play 2 today to make up for the great blizzard of 2018's April. The Sox and Twins in a straight doubleheader. 3:10 first pitch is just around the corner. And so we must tell you about the White Sox lineup. It's brought to you by the Webb Auto Group. For the best lineup of Chevys, Fords, Mitsubishis, Genesis, and Hyundais at the best price, go to webcars.com. 2 switch hitters up top once again. Abreu's been hitting it very well. So has Polka, Anderson, Narvaez, and Engel, Tilson, and Thompson, who had the game winner against the Twins in the opener of the last series.
Defensive setup for the Twins presented by UI Health, and here's how Paul Molitor puts them out there today. It's Grossman, Lamar, and Kepler in the outfield left to right with Escobar, Adrianza, Dozier, and Sano in the infield. Bobby Wilson gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus Experience amazing starting pitcher is Fernando Romero. Fastball slider pitcher, got a big fastball at 97-98. Throws a pretty good slider. Last time out was a disaster for him, but overall he's thrown it well, and 2-2 is ERA. 4.15, and as you can see, left-handers have had all kinds of problems with him. Right-handers have actually hit him better. He's only allowed a couple of home runs this year, 30 1/3, and that's good. Umpires for the game this afternoon. Brian O'Nora has the plate. Sean Barber at first. C.B. Buckner's got second, and Chris Conroy is the umpire at third base. So just a gorgeous day for baseball. Wind very much not a factor this afternoon. Ricky Renteria looking on. Long day for him, long day for his staff, and Sox looking to take 2. Last year, the Twins played 6 doubleheaders. They lost the first game in every one of those 6. They didn't win a 1. They split 5 of them, lost 1 outright. And so we're ready to play baseball. I'm ready to turn it over to my twin bill partner, Jason Benetti.
Thank you, Steve. First pitch as we are underway is too high. Ball number 1 to Yoan Moncada. And we're finally getting paid back for the difficult weather in April, because this is basically a perfect day for baseball as Moncada lights this ball up to center. Lamar at the wall. It's gone. Yoan Moncada on pitch number 2 goes yard, and it's 1-0 Sox.
Very promising way to start it off as Moncada got the fastball that he loves and juiced it for his 8th home run. He's driven in 21, and that a no-doubter. That one almost against the back screen. The hitting background in center field, our Ford home run replay. Here's that fastball. It's right down the middle, and it leaves in a hurry. No doubt of the strength, no doubt of the exit velocity of Moncada. It's his 3rd career leadoff home run. Lamar runs out of room.
So for Yoan Moncada, with that home run, another generous donation from the Alex Nellius family in loving memory of Ursula. It got out at 109 miles an hour. And for Fernando Romero, who let the first 4 reach against him against the Royals last time out, maybe that here we go again alarm starts to ring in his mind.
You got to make him get down with that fastball, because he has a tendency, like many young hard throwers, to keep the ball up in the zone.
7th major league appearance for the right-hander out of the Dominican Republic. He's 23 years old. Fernando Romero came up all the way through the Twins organization.
He lost a full season in 2015. He was injured. So coming back, had a very good 2016 and an equally good 2017.
To second base, and Brian Dozier, the stalwart for Minnesota, and there's out number 1. Both of these teams are playing better baseball. The Sox winning the series against the best team in the National League, Milwaukee, over the weekend. Twins lost the opener against Cleveland in a 4-game series and then won 3 straight before the off day yesterday.
The 3-game winning streak doesn't mask the 4-6 in their last 10. However, this team used to dominate in this ballpark. Not so this year, just 14-13 here in the Twin Cities.
It's better than they've been on the road, though. 5 under for Paul Molitor overall this year at 25-30. Still, though, because of those big 3 wins against Cleveland, they're in touch with the Indians at 3.5 back.
Well, the Indians having bullpen problems has let everybody in the division think that there's still a chance.
than there is really. Detroit 2.5 back. The Tigers have got to be somewhat surprised. I know Ron Gardenhire is a great manager. They have great veteran leadership, but that's still a surprise that they're that close.
And bear in mind, they're doing this by and large without Miguel Cabrera, who's been injured up to this point. So without him, they actually stayed in touch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. As there's the breaking ball from Romero, 2 down.
That's a pitch that's going to separate him from the normal pitcher, because that's a quick breaking slider. If he gets ahead, he can use that to wipe out the right-handers for sure. But when he doesn't use that, the right-handers have really hurt him. And here's a guy that really sets off this lineup, and that is Daniel Polka. So they shift a little differently than most. They leave Adrianza at shortstop. They move Escobar into straightaway second, with Dozier moving over.
And he still beats it with an absolute laser that ripples to the wall. Polka wants to glide to second. The throw is offline, and it's a double for Daniel Polka, testing Kepler in right.
On your handy dandy little machine, give me the exit velocity of that one, as Daniel Polka gets a first ball fastball and he just kills it. I mean, this is a rocket. Gives you an idea just how strong he is. And I say he's the man that's made the difference in this lineup, because they're starting to score some runs, and 118 miles an hour on the exit velocity. It looked like it was shot out of a cannon.
That ball got to the wall in one heartbeat. It's amazing. He, coming into the series this week, had 4 of the 5 hardest hit balls for the Sox all year, and 4 of the top 50 in Major League Baseball. Here's the list entering today, and that has just been shattered because Daniel Polka just whacked a ball to the wall at 118.
It's pretty amazing how strikingly the ball comes off his bat. You think other guys hit the ball hard, and they certainly do, but then you see it go off Daniel's bat and you realize that that's another dimension.
It is. It's ugly for the baseball. What did that ball ever do to deserve Daniel Polka? There's a slider, 1-2 to Tim Anderson. Daniel did see his college teammate Matt Skoll get sent down to AAA. Matt Davidson's been activated for this doubleheader, and Juan Minaya is the 26th man up from AAA as an added arm in the bullpen. In the air straight away, Lamar for out number 3, but Yoan Moncada goes after pitch number 2 of the ball game. Look out, Ray Durham. He might be coming for you. 3rd leadoff home run for Yoan in his career, and the Sox are up early. The Webb Auto Group, Dozier, Rosario, Sano, Escobar, Kepler, and Grossman. No Joe Mauer still. Lamar, Adrianza, and Wilson, the starting 9.
Defensive setup for our Sox presented by UI Health, and this is how Ricky's going to put them out there today. It's Charlie, Adam, and Trace in the outfield with Sanchez, Anderson, Moncada, and Abreu in the infield. Omar Narvaez gets a nod behind the plate, and our Lexus experienced amazing starting pitcher is Ronaldo Lopez. Tough outing for him last time out. This is his 12th start. Just 1-4 this year, but the ERA respectable 3.80. That's really piled up in just about 2 of his starts. Right-handers have done nothing with him.
He'll face Brian Dozier first, then Rosario and Sano for a Twins team. It's 19th in Major League Baseball in batting average, middle of the road basically everywhere. 18th in on-base percentage, 17th in slugging. And part of the reason is they just can't trot out their regular 9 at any point. At all times this year, somebody's been hurt, as Trace Thompson's on the move to make the catch for out number 1.
Well, surprisingly, Dozier's only hit 1 home run in this ballpark, and that came last week. This used to be a place where he could reach very easily as a dead pull hitter. It's only 339 down the line. It was very comfortable for him, but not so this year. And this is a man who's been as hot as anybody in baseball for the better part of 3 weeks.
It's Eddie Rosario. Charlie Tilson is there to make the catch for round number 2.
I like to see Ronaldo this aggressive. He's going right at the hitters, which is what he should do, because when he fell behind last time out, things did not end well for him.
Well, there have been differing approaches against him this year from opposing teams, but the most prevalent approach seems to be swing early.
Yeah, he's going to usually be around the plate with the first pitch, and normally it's going to be a fastball. And that's one of the reasons why they do swing early, because he's got a very good straight change, which is surprising for a young pitcher, which he is. He also has an electric slider when he gets it in the zone, so you don't want him to get ahead.
Which he just did. 0-2 on Sano. The shift is on for Sano, as you might expect. Well, that looked very close.
That actually had the plate, but did not get the benefit of the call by Brian O'Nora.
So back to the drawing board on 1-2 against Miguel Sano.
Pretty good idea here is that slider, try to establish it early, and if he gets it at least in the neighborhood, Sano usually is going to be hacking.
One, 2 is low, closer to the zone than it looked. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Sano off to a slow start. He's had some injury difficulties, but he normally is a free swinger.
Downstairs, 3-2. If you're wondering why Ronaldo Lopez is wearing number 42, the Sox and Twins were snowed out on Jackie Robinson Day, so the number 42 being worn across the ballpark today. And he lost him. Probably shouldn't have lost him, but he did, as he didn't get strike 3 early in the count. So 2-out walk, and Escobar coming up. We'll tell you what you're going to see other than Daniel Palka smashing baseballs to smithereens today. We'll tell you about Nick Madrigal, the Sox first-round draft pick, the infielder from Oregon State. Some drama in Detroit, and we'll ask Ricky Renteria how he uses his bullpen to sop up 18 innings of a doubleheader.
Escobar's been a good player this year. Batting average, not much to choose from either side of the plate. He's got much more power left-handed, however. 8 of his 10 home runs have come as a lefty.
Early swings from Minnesota, 0-1.
Sano's had some leg problems during his career. Abreu holding him close at first. And Escobar's a pull hitter.
You would imagine Sano would hold himself close.
Yeah, I like the idea of Jose playing a couple of steps behind him, actually, to get a little better angle on ground ball that way, because if Sano runs, there's going to be an investigation. He is yet to try to steal a bag.
Twins don't steal much as a team, just 18 overall for the season, and 5 of those with Rosario.
And another 5 with Buxton, who was out. He was having migraines. They put him on the DL, and then he fouled the ball off his foot in his rehab stint, and now he's on the shelf for some time.
Well, it's the old joke, right? Say, Doc, it hurts when I do this. Well, don't do that.
Or we'll hit you in the foot with something so you'll forget about the migraines.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You can take your pick of old jokes.
But he's usually such a good center fielder that he really hurts them with his absence.
Another foul ball from Escobar with Kepler next. And the Sox leading on a Yoan Moncada solo home run. Another hard hit foul ball from Escobar.
That was a changeup he got out in front of. Sano's lead is minuscule at first base.
One, two. Another rocket foul.
It was another straight change, and he got well out in front of it.
All right, so you've seen those foul balls. You're going to throw a third changeup?
No, I'm going to throw a slider because it's going to look like a change coming out of his hand, only it's going to disappear down, and also it's a little faster than the change. But that's a fastball, and Omar wants it upstairs.
On 1 and 2 for Escobar. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 98 to the fringe. Good luck. 1-0 Sox after 1. And we'd like to welcome all our viewers watching on Lost Nation Elwood Telephone in Lost Nation, Iowa.
How does Elwood get in there?
Well, Lost Nation Jake Telephone collapsed.
There you go.
So they had to have a sister company. Former batting champ in the American League, George Stone from Lost Nation, Iowa.
He was a batting champ?
Yeah.
Wow, that was a while ago.
Your guy.
Old Uncle George.
You never visited him in Lost Nation, did you?
No.
Yeah, he had 358 in 1906.
Couldn't find it.
Hi to everybody in Lost Nation. We appreciate your viewership. Omar to left field. Grossman on the trot to make the catch for out number 1. Sox Serve Week is coming up. It's June 11th through the 16th. This week-long initiative features different outreach event and fundraising events every day to support Chicago White Sox charities. For more information, visit whitesox.com/SoxServe. Christine O'Reilly and her entire group, including Paddington Bear, Sarah Martin, do such a wonderful job with that week, and we always look forward to it. One down for Adam Engel, who checks his swing and doesn't go. Ball 1.
Escobar, you with the bag at third. Sano now moving back a couple of steps at first.
Ball and a strike on Adam. And we told you in our open about Adam's hot streak recently. He's got 5 multi-hit games in his last 11. And overall, before that for the season, he had 3.
He's been using the whole field, and that's good. And also, I mean, he's a very strong guy. Hasn't really shown it in the early portions of his career, but when he gets more confident, he's going to start hitting the ball out of the park with more consistency.
That's ripped to left field, and Engel's on with a 1-out single.
Big birthday greetings to a friend of mine, turning 55 today, Don Vogel, looking on in Ahwatukee, Arizona, as Adam Engel does put a charge into that. He opens up. He's standing right on top of the plate. He opens up that left foot, gives him room to clear his hips, and drives it to left field with pretty good stroke.
Your buddy shares a birthday with Ray Lankford and Jake Petrichka, among others.
Pitcher and a hitter. Good company. Lankford had a nice career.
He sure did. Mostly with the Cardinals.
And Jake had great stuff. Had some injury difficulties that really stopped him from being the pitcher that I thought he was going to be.
Charlie Tilson on 1-0 from Fernando Romero, and Engel dives back in. Now with a pitcher who's relatively new to Major League Baseball, this is his 7th start. The base runners are having to get a feel off of video for the move that Romero is using.
That and the fact that they usually try to take a one-way lead, meaning you're just thinking about going back to first to force that move you just saw. And right now it's a long arm move where it's not getting there all that quickly. His feet aren't that quick. Good combination to run against, although Wilson normally is a pretty good defender. He's got a good arm, not a great arm, and if Romero does not use a slide step, it's not going to be difficult for Engel to continue the running ways of the Sox.
Adam doesn't go. Charlie pops it up foul, third base side, and out of play. Sox lead Major League Baseball with 50 stolen bases.
And speed up and down the order normally on a daily basis, no exception with Tim Anderson leading the way with 12, only been caught 1 time. Leury Garcia, who's on the shelf, but he's 9 for 9 in stolen bases.
There's that 12-foot lead for Engel. Pitch out off the glove of Wilson, and that's not exactly how they planned it to happen.
That one just took off on Romero, and Wilson could not corral it. It goes as a wild pitch. This one is well wide of the plate. There is the pitch out, and he throws it way to Bobby Wilson's left. Engel was not running.
Now he is.
He can trot now.
Two and one. Up and out. 3 balls and a strike. But in an era when the stolen base is declining in usage, the value of it is the attention that you pull away from the pitcher in home plate.
Especially with a young pitcher who's not used to a whole lot of pressure. What you have to lay off from Romero, it appears in the early going, to the left-hand hitter, is a fastball away out of the zone, because his fastball moves pretty well and occasionally doesn't have the ability to stay close long enough. When that happens, the arm's going to trail and you're going to throw high and away to the lefties, although he's shading inside is Wilson.
On the ground up the middle. Adrianza on the charge, throws him out. Engel to third, 2 away.
Adrianza's a very good defender at shortstop. His problem has been swinging the bat, but defensively he's very good.
There's some good defensive pieces on this team.
Well, he's getting a chance to play because Mauer is not able to play to this point with concussion syndrome, but he did swing the bat before the game today. We might see him in this series, and when that happens, he plays first base. Escobar goes to shortstop, Sano at third, and no room for Adrianza.
First ball fastball strike to Trace Thompson. Sox up thanks to a home run in the first on pitch number 2 from Yohan Moncada. .97 and up is not terribly simple to catch up to. 0-2.
No, Trace is not going to be able to hit it up there. That's just too much velocity and too high.
Oh, 2. That's way too high. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fernando Romero starting game number 1. Zach Littell scheduled to start game number 2 in what amounts to his major league debut.
He's going to go against Lucas Giolito.
Painted him on the edge. Second strikeout for Romero. Engel stranded. Sox still have the lead, 1-0.
For the Rush, presented by GMC.
Live on Facebook Live.
And we know that you know that we know that we suspect you know all about sports.
You sure?
No, I'm not.
Here's Kepler. Take a breaking strike 1. Twins got a walk with 2 out in the first inning. Sano stranded at first. Escobar then struck out, and that was it. Sox with a 1-0 lead as that one is hammered on a line, but beautifully grabbed by Sanchez. And he does finally get the out call from Brian O'Nora. Yolmer was scanning the ballpark for a fist in the air, and he finally got it from the plate umpire.
Well, actually, I mean, that's an easier call for C.B. Buckner at second base, only because Chris Conroy is behind him. He can't see if he made the grab. Look how far off the bag he is, and that's a rocket. He's able to snare it. CB, looking right at it, might have been able to see it, and he holds up the ball to CB, but turns around and Chris Conroy says, yep, I guess you caught it. You're out.
Eventually we got there.
Yep. Nice catch, by the way.
Wrap to first. That's a fair ball. Abreu gobbles it up, and very rapidly the Sox have 2 out in the second inning. And Reynaldo Lopez really is the veteran of this doubleheader. He's thrown 31 games in his major league career, and that is the most of any starting pitcher of the 4 for this twin bill.
That's what's happened with the pitching staffs kind of dissolving, and the Sox in somewhat of a rebuild. You get a lot of young pitchers out there, and Reynaldo, who is very young himself at 24 years old, he's not exactly crafty, but he is somewhat of a veteran. And if you want to hear how baseball works, sometimes it takes something to get to the major leagues that was unexpected. Max Kepler had problems last year against left-handers. Those problems have been resolved. But because of those problems, Lamar made the ball club. He had a great spring, and they were concerned that Kepler would still have the problems with the left-handers, so Lamar, swinging the bat from the right side, has given him the .310 batting average to this point. Does that big power, uses the whole field, hits a lot of line drives. So his opportunity to make the ball club came because Kepler was struggling against the lefties. This year he's been brilliant against the lefties, hitting .327.
And he doesn't have a chance to take a swing here. It's a second 2-out walk in the game for Lopez, bringing up Adrianza.
You know, if I hadn't gone through it myself, I wouldn't be able to identify it. But what happens, it happened to me as a young pitcher, I think it's happening to Lopez, is that you get the first 2 outs, and suddenly you're 2 outs in the inning, and you know one more out, you're out of the inning, no problem. And then you don't have quite the focus you will have later in your career. And you wound up for the second time in 2 innings walking a man with 2 outs and nobody on, which extends the inning and makes you throw more pitches.
Adrianza takes a strike. It's almost as though you want a little more adversity from the first 2 outs of the inning to make you work.
Well, you start, I mean, you're bearing down on the first hitter because he's usually the key to the inning. And then the second hitter comes up after you've thrown it very well to the first hitter. In this case, just 1 pitch to Kepler. Then you get another very short at bat for Grossman. Now you find yourself with 2 outs, nobody on, and you walk somebody.
Oh, he was leaning, and he is out, picked off. Lamar is toast at first.
Let's go. He can't step to third base first.
It was like somebody hit pause on Lamar. Paul Molitor says it's a balk.
He's saying it balk because he didn't step toward first base. He's saying he threw across his body, and Paul most unhappy with Sean Barber, but looks like the call is going to stand, and that's it for the inning.
Lamar done.
because Ronaldo actually moves before the throw. And you watch it here, base runner keys on that move, and he doesn't go to first right away. He goes after the move, and Molitor was apoplectic in the dugout. And being a great base stealer himself, he knows what to key on, and you key on the first move of a pitcher.
Well, they're going to have to deal with it next time.
It held up, and there's a lot of different ways that pitchers can go to first base.
(3-0) on Moncada, whose home run on the second pitch of this game gives the Sox a 1-0 lead right now. That's a strike. 3-1.
Yuan's legs now are entirely 100% healthy, so if he gets on, he's a base stealing threat.
Moncada in the air, right center field. Lamar back at the warning track to make the play for out number 1.
403 to the little triangle in right center field, and Yuan took Lamar all the way back to the wall. He didn't get the sweet spot on this, but it shows you how strong he is. Lamar has about 1 or 2 feet to spare, and Romero, sigh of relief, wondering, boy, that guy must be strong.
Yeah, that's a pretty lively bat there, because he definitely did not barrel that. Sanchez takes a strike. Yolmer on a 7-game hit streak. One ball, one strike. Two and one. Interesting that we would have a balk controversy on Jackie Robinson Day, considering he was one of the best base runners of all time.
And one of the most aggressive, and a man who would steal home in a heartbeat if you didn't pay attention to him.
Sanchez, center field. Lamar. Join us, Guaranteed Rate Field, Sox and Tigers, Saturday, June 16th. It's a 1:10 start time. First 20,000 fans get a White Sox Hawaiian floppy hat presented by Beggar's Pizza. Visit whitesox.com right now to get your tickets. What was it, 19 times Jackie Robinson stole home? Something like that?
And it wasn't on the back end of a double steal. He would just steal it straight out. You had to pay attention to him. And you know, there was a time in those days where pitchers did not take a stretch with the runner at third base. And it could very well be that Jackie helped determine the pitcher should do that.
Well hit on the ground. Nicely played by Dozier. It's a 1-2-3 third on some steady defense for Romero.
card, only available through local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/socks to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Spectacular day for baseball in Minnesota, which is not always a snow globe, we're learning, which is nice.
Great place for walleye here in Minneapolis.
You do love the walleye here.
I sure do.
You ever had the walleye in Toledo?
Walleye is great anywhere.
They have a minor league hockey team called the Walleye.
They do.
In Toledo, yeah. Thought maybe you had season tickets.
No, not yet.
Adrianza with a pop-up, third base side. Yolmer fading back. He is there, one down.
Not much wind, although that ball started to drift on him, and Yolmer stayed right with it. He displays a quality third base. He would also play a quality second and shortstop if he were asked to do that. I'm pretty sure with a little practice he would play a quality outfield also, because there's not much he can't do.
Bet you he'd be a serviceable catcher. Too small of a target, you think?
No, I think he would give it a try if it meant him playing.
Lopez with a broken bat boomerang for out number 2. Wilson's gone. And here comes Brian Dozier.
Well, it's not difficult to see the game plan of Paul Molitor and his Twins today. They're going up there early in the count, swinging at anything in the zone. Ronaldo is throwing it in the zone overwhelmingly on the first pitch. Talked to Paul Molitor about his feelings having a year under his belt as a manager. He said it's not a question of the X's and O's, because he knew that when he was a player. It's a question of how to deal with players who absolutely have to be handled a different way. Each and every one of the guys handled a different way to get the most out of him. And Paul said that the only way that you can go through that is to actually learn to go through it in an executive role, because he was as smart a player as there was. And yet when you move into that dugout, it changes, because now you're the guy that everybody looks to make the decisions, and that is not easy.
Dozier takes high, 1-1. Brian Dozier will fly out to right in the first. You see, he's the guy that if anybody's going to turn around that Lopez fastball, it's going to be Dozier.
We were hoping Ronaldo will not throw that fastball middle into him, because that's a ball he can put a charge into.
So a slider to the corner, 1-2.
That's a nice pitch, because it actually buckled the knees of Dozier. And then after pretty much giving up on it, he had to take it for a called strike.
Fastball zipped away, 2-2. So again, 2 quick outs, this time on the infield on 4 pitches. And see if Coop's guy Lopez can get out of it quickly in a 1-2-3 third. 2-2. That was right down the chute, and a ground ball for Tim Anderson, who throws him out. And indeed, they go like dominoes for Lopez in the third. 1-2-3, 1-0 Sox.
It comes off the bat of Daniel Polka. This is just a blast. In 118.4 miles per hour, that got out of the infield at laser-like speed. The throw is off the mark, or there would have been a play, but Kepler did not make a good throw. He got to the ball so quickly, his ball was hit so hard that he actually had a chance, but not with that throw.
That Polk smash was the second hardest hit ball in Major League Baseball in 2018. Aaron Judge hit one at 119.9 on May the 27th, but that was only a single. So Daniel Polka, ripping through his jersey, has the hardest hit extra base hit in baseball this year.
You'd have to figure that Romero's going to try to throw a head-high fastball here. That's what Wilson called. But Romero didn't like it. He decided to go to the slider. Lucky he didn't get that one over the plate.
He went off the board, as they say.
Well, he's got a veteran catcher. He decided that he felt good about the slider. Fortunately for him, it did not hit.
2-2, clipped foul by Polka.
It's interesting. Wilson still wants a high fastball. Romero still wants a slider.
Who will win?
Well, one pitch missed, one pitch fouled off. Let's see if Wilson gets his way. We'll look in. That's a fastball inside. Now he goes to the slider again.
And he missed. 3-2. You fall in love with a pitch out there on the mound, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, for me, you do, but that face-high fastball has been sitting there, and when you get that far ahead of a hitter, it's always a good pitch.
That was down the middle and shot to second base. Out number one. Here's your Sox math question for game number one. Only problem is you can't win yet, because this is only half of it. You have to use this part of the answer to win in game number two.
Ooh, this is a continuation Sox math.
It's like Who Shot JR's Sox math edition. Number of games in this series multiplied by games snowed out in the last trip here. But you can't use that to win right now. You have to use it for game number two.
Oh, that's the key to game number two.
Yeah.
That's kind of a way to get them to tune in. Because of the gigantic prizes afforded them if they win.
It's true, including a signed copy of Steve's game notes.
Or the sponsor's worksheet. That's
true.
Always entertaining.
Our road prizes, I think, are actually more entertaining than the home prizes.
Well, we're trying to give away Southpaw's birthday doll for a bit. Tim gets hit with that one, and
yes,
if you're going to get hit on the uniform as opposed to the body. And I got to believe they're going to be testing the arm of Bobby Wilson in this scenario. That one just barely, it appears, got the uni, maybe a touch of his side. You don't want to get hit too hard with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and I think they got a little bit more of Tim than he probably would have wanted.
Those are words to live by.
Yeah, get out of the way.
1 on 1 out, Narvaez. You also, if you win Sox math in game number two, you may get a postcard from our producer, Keon Dolachahi. He is a big postcard guy and furnishes Sox math with postcards every road series.
Postcards from the edge?
No, just from the road city we're in. There's a strike sent in by Romero. 1 ball, 1 strike. If you haven't heard, by the way, the Sox have had a nice Major League Baseball draft already. We'll tell you later on about some of the draft picks, but number 1, 4th overall, Nick Madrigal, the infielder from Oregon State, has drawn very rave reviews from the baseball community. On the ground, Dozier lets it go through, and the Sox have 2 on instead of the end of the inning.
Not even a debatable issue at E4. And this is thinking about 2 before you get 1. That ball came up a bit on Dozier, but he took his concentration off as he was thinking about either the flip or the throw to second base. so that opens the door.
All right, so take a note, 57 pitches for Romero at the time of the error, which would have been the end of the inning, and we'll see how many more he has to throw to find his way out of the fourth.
6th error of the year for Dozier.
Oh, and 1 to Adam, who in his last 40 at bats has hit .350, which is very good news. Takes a strike. 0-2.
Looks like that little leg kick that he's using now is a little different than the one he used in the spring. In the spring, that leg was a little bit higher. He was getting more hang time, but he wasn't getting his foot down in time, and he was very much overmatched on high fastballs. Now he's hit a few good fastballs. I mean, he hit the daylights out of a fastball in the 2nd inning against a guy throwing 97.
In the air, left field. Grossman. Anderson tags. He's into third. Omar behind the plate is second, so the Sox get an extra 90 feet at each base. 2nd and 3rd, 2 down.
For Robbie Grossman, that's just a play where he wasn't thinking all that much. The reason is that Anderson's got great speed. You have to know that. You also have to know that Narvaez at first base is a catcher. You got to get this throw into second. You keep the force out in order if you do that. Now a base hit not only plates 2, but also you don't have a force out, and you got a man up who can really run in Tilson. So that's something that I'm sure Paul Molitor and his staff will be talking about with Robbie Grossman.
First pitch, Charlie Tilson elevates it on the left side for Grossman. No harm done to the Twins. A hit batter and an error, and bottom 4 after this. He's the guy that Nick Hostetler said last night was #1 on the Sox draft board, regardless of position where they were drafting. Nick Madrigal, the second baseman / shortstop, can play some third as well from Oregon State, and he has said before that his favorite player is Jose Altuve. He is that type of guy in terms of bat control, very much ahead of his years. And Steve, in honor of Nick Madrigal from Oregon State, is wearing Beavers colors today.
Yes, absolutely.
So very nice.
That's the least that I could do for him. I mean, he's going to be here in the not too distant future, we would hope. And the fact is, off a high leg kick, he looks a little like Altuve. And we've got some precedent for guys who are not Giants winning MVPs. Pedroia won for Boston, Altuve won for Houston. Altuve still tearing it up. And by all accounts, Madrigal is as polished a hitter as there is in college at this point. And so I think he fits very well into the organization. Plus, he understands the game, and that part of it is really good.
He struck out 5 times all season this year.
Well, that's because he wasn't seeing the ball real well. But when he really adjusts to that, I think he'll strike out less.
You know, one note from Chris Kamka from last night about Madrigal that's very interesting, considering Moncada and Frank Thomas share the same birthday, is that Nick Madrigal shares a birthday with Paul Konerko.
He was born on his 21st birthday. And if he has any kind of career that's similar to Paul Konerko's, he will have had a wonderful career. Probably going to hit a few less home runs.
Down low, 3-2. The one thing that seems to carry over pretty well in baseball from year to year and from early age to later age is command of the strike zone. And he has that.
With only 5 strikeouts all season, I would sure hope to tell you.
In the air, first base side, drifting into foul territory, and Jose has it sized up for out number 1. Your 2018 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate, your home team throughout the season and the official mortgage provider of the Chicago White Sox. Get started today at rate.com. And by the way, if you want to learn more about Nick Madrigal, the Sox 4th overall pick, 1st round draft pick, Chuck Garfien on the White Sox Talk podcast had a conversation with Madrigal's head coach, Oregon State's Pat Casey, and one of the things Casey said to him on the White Sox Talk podcast was when he saw Madrigal as an 8th grader, he wanted to have him right then.
Was he bigger then?
I knew you were going to go there, and I almost just decided against the piece of information because of it, but it was worth it. 0-2 on Sano. It is funny, though, you listen to the criticisms of Madrigal, and there are some people that say, oh, he's too small to do anything in the major league. The reigning MVP in the American League is small.
He's probably 5'4".
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think Altuve is much taller than that. Maybe you can stretch him out, get him to 5'5", but that's about it. And so that's the beauty of this game. You don't have to be a giant to play it, as we're reminded each and every year by the guys who excel, who are smaller guys. And you'd have to figure he's going to get a little heavier. He's right there at 165 pounds at this point. So he will mature, certainly, and you cannot teach plate discipline. You can't teach the ability to put the bat on the ball if you're not that kind of a hitter. And it's refreshing to see a guy that puts a bat on the ball consistently in an age where everybody's worried about launch angle. Everybody is worried about hitting the ball as far as they can and not concerned about strikeouts. But there is a time where you have to make a productive out instead of just going, well, hit the ball out of the park or I will wind up with the ball in the catcher's glove.
1-2 on Sano. Speaking of ball ending up in catcher's glove, strike 3, 2 down. Lopez cruising along through 3 2/3.
That's how deceptive that slider is, because to Sano it looked like a fastball. Then he picked up the spin late and tried to stop his swing. He just couldn't. He realized that he was fooled. The eye did not register a slider. This one dips out of the zone, and Sano striking out for the 53rd time. Doesn't sound like a lot at this time of the year, but bear in mind he's only had 120 at bats, so that is a prolific rate.
Strike 1 to Escobar, who had the other strikeout against Lopez today. One more note on the Sox 4th overall pick, Nick Madrigal. Minnesota fans who may be watching our telecast for, we hope, the entire game. Nothing against Dick and Bert. If you're Gopher fans, you're going to get a very close-up look at Oregon State. That's the super regional pairing in Corvallis over the weekend, and the Twins themselves. Their first pick, the outfielder Trevor Larnach, is also on that Oregon State team. That's some trouble into left center field, and down, one hopping the wall and over the top for a double. So for the 3rd time in 4 innings, 2 outs, and then the 3rd batter reaches.
Escobar hit that ball awfully hard. Charlie Tilson could not get to it. It's a fastball up and away. Eduardo is a terrific player, and the White Sox know that because they traded him to Minnesota, and he can do just about everything. 21st double of the year, and now he plays each and every day. And I remember talking to him about the ability to hit off the bench because he didn't have an established position on this team. And he still doesn't. However, regardless of the established position or not, well, he plays every day. He's just too valuable to put on the bench. And so when a guy can swing from both sides of the plate, give you 21 doubles at this point of the year, which pencils out to over 60, you'd have to say he's going to find his way in the lineup.
Top 2 doubles guys in Major League Baseball are actually in this game, Abreu and Escobar. And the Twins guy is going to get stranded here in the 4th. To the 5th we go. Sox still have the 1-0 lead. Houston, Roger Salkeld, Jeff Jackson, Donald Harris, and Paul Coleman, and so they had to settle for Frank Thomas.
That was an Al Goldis draft. One of the 4 straight first-round draft picks that turned into gold for the Sox.
How about those guys? Alex Fernandez, Robin Ventura,
Jack McDowell, and Big Frank. 4 in a row. I don't think we'll see that again. We'll see some good ones, but they were just outstanding players, each and every one, with Frank winding up in the Hall of Fame.
In the air right field. Kepler back at the warning track on the move, and a nice running catch for Max Kepler on Trace Thompson.
Max is pretty smooth out there, and there's not much that he can't do. He's not really a high average hitter, but he's a very competent hitter and a good outfielder. He just glides after this ball. It's well hit. It's slicing away from him, and he stays right with it and hauls it in.
I mean, he is the son of 2 ballet dancers, so you would imagine gliding is in the genes.
I would think so.
Moncada takes a slider for ball 1.
These are 2 young, hard-throwing pitchers, and both of them throwing very well. The only difference, the man you're looking at in that leadoff home run.
You like Romero's stuff?
I do. I like it a lot.
Why?
Well, obviously the fastball at 96, 97 is very lively, but also the slider is biting, and I don't think guys recognize it right away, which is good. He's got to work on his changeup.
Shank through the left side, base hit for Moncada, a 1-out single.
But I think he does a lot of things well. He hasn't walked anybody. He's coming off a disaster last time out against Kansas City, where they just jumped on him early in that game. This is a fastball, belt high and away, and Yuan, who's hit the ball hard 3 times, 2 for 3 to show for it, is on base in a running situation.
Here's Sanchez.
This is a very good hit and run if Ricky Renteria does not want to use a straight steal.
Chopper foul. Moncada wasn't going, so now Moncada on a 6-game hit streak, Sanchez at 7, and Abreu has been one of the hotter hitters in baseball over the past month. So this top 3 is starting to really click for the Sox.
Yolmer hit the ball very hard last time in the 3rd inning, but lined it right at Lamar in center field.
Part of the fun of baseball is explaining to people who are new to the game the nuances of our national pastime, and just watching what you're seeing at home as the camera goes from 42 to 42 to 42. If this is your first game you've ever watched, not everybody always wears the same number. This is Jackie Robinson Day for these 2 teams, wearing the iconic 42 that's been retired by Major League Baseball in honor of Jackie Robinson. And the bases with the April 15th, 2018 insignia. The whole field was snowed on that day, and so we celebrate today.
And the bases have been kept in cold storage all this time, waiting for today.
1-2 on Sanchez. We'll have to wait. Wish I would have gotten to see him live. Jackie Robinson.
Well, my former partner Harry Carey, who saw a lot of great players because he broadcast seemingly forever, he said that the most exciting player he ever saw was Jackie Robinson. And that is from a guy who, since 1945 to 1997, saw all the great players in the game over that expansive time, and yet that's the man he felt was the most exciting. And he could disrupt a game not only with his bat, but with his speed, with his aggressiveness, and he brought a new dimension to the game of baseball. He just changed it.
Moncada's off, swing and a miss. Throw down to second is not in time. Moncada hangs on to the bag, and that's a stolen base for Yoan. The team total now at 51.
We mentioned a good combination to run against, and that throw by Wilson almost went into center field. Yoan got a nice break. It's not an easy pitch to handle, but Adrianza put the tag on him, but his hand never left the bag.
Good job by Yolmer too to not interfere, but also to maintain his spot in the batter's box that he is allowed to have. Abreu takes a strike.
This becomes a big at bat for Jose. This is a precarious 1-run lead. Twins have only had 1 hit, but they're right at the bottom of the 2nd time through the order before the 3rd time.
Tried to stuff it onto the corner. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the air, left center field, and this is alley-worthy for Abreu. Moncada comes home. Abreu retakes his lead in the majors in doubles, and it's 2-0 Sox.
Looked like he got a hold of a pretty good slider down, but he just reached out, and the big run producers can do these things. That's very much a pitcher's pitch. Jose cranks it in the alley, drives in his 33rd run of the year. That's just a good at bat by an excellent major league hitter.
So that's Jose's 19th double since April 28th. We're talking like 5.5 weeks there.
As soon as it starts to heat up, so does he heat up. Off to a slow start again. The weather was just awful early, but now he's been red hot.
Daniel fouls it away left side just below Ed and DJ. One ball, one strike on Polka. Not much of an effort by our radio brethren to make the catch on that ball.
They both know it's best to let that one go.
Polka pops it up. Adrianza for out number 3. Sox get a run as we celebrate Jackie Robinson Day, which was supposed to be during the great blizzard. That's what we had that day. It's much nicer today, we promise. Say, show me the Chicago White Sox into your X1 voice remote and get live team stats on your TV. Change the way you experience TV with Xfinity X1. When did it go from TV to TV?
I don't remember when it was TV.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Huh. I thought you lived for the entirety of the medium.
Oh, I do. But I always pronounce it TV.
Not TV?
No. Or TP. Not that either.
No balls and 2 strikes. Reynaldo Lopez once again is just kind of in the left lane, one hand on the wheel and driving.
Only the 2 walks so far, both coming with 2 outs, nobody on in the first and second. Since then, he's gotten a little tighter with his stuff. And the fastball at 98, you could tell the stuff was very good today from the first inning on. And he's made that leadoff home run hold up to this point. Now it's added another one.
Breaking ball popped up. Yolmer again makes the catch for out number 1. Sox fans, join us as the White Sox take on the Twins Thursday, June 28th. It's 1:10 p.m. First 10,000 fans get a free White Sox themed t-shirt presented by LifeSource. Donate blood, save lives. Learn more right now at lifesource.org. Get your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Weather's getting better. More opportunities, especially late this month, to see the Sox with only a brief 3-game trip to Cleveland separating about 2 weeks straight worth of home games. Lopez has done a great job of avoiding solid contact in this game. The average exit velocity against him, and there have been a lot of balls in play, just 2 strikeouts, 2 walks. Average exit velocity against him today, 81.5 miles an hour.
He hasn't hit the sweet spot of the bat very often.
No bat there. 2-2 on Lamar. Well, the plan is to have to eat up 18 innings today, because that would force the Twins to bat in each 9th inning, and that's barring extra innings, of course. But the bullpen could use as much help as possible from the first starter, so you can plan a little bit better for game number 2.
I think Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper certainly want it that way. He's got to get by Lamar here, who's getting his first shot at the major leagues. An extended shot. He's had 3 other opportunities, but Cincinnati, Boston, and Oakland.
Ball 4, second walk for Lamar. And Adrianza bats with a runner on, with less than 2 out for the first time to date for Minnesota.
Lamar came to spring training as a non-roster player, and when you get invited, when you're not on the roster, you have to show them you can do some things. He certainly play the outfield. Better suited to play center field, but he can play each corner, and he had a very good spring.
Former 2nd-round pick by Cincinnati. And when you're a non-roster guy too, there's going to need to be some shuffling. Not only do you have to prove that you're good enough to be in the mix, you have to basically take somebody else's spot.
Yep. And get dropped. That person's going to get dropped from the 40 man as you take his spot.
Center field. Engel trying to get a read on it, and Adam makes the catch on the move for out number 2.
Looking up into the sunshine, the clouds now starting to bunch up a bit. The rain is due way late tonight, not going to affect this doubleheader at all, as the weather is just gorgeous.
We have some concerns about tomorrow during the day, rain-wise, but
it's supposed to be in early and then move out. And for the night game, that's just fine.
Scheduled to be Hector Santiago and Jake Odorizzi, and then James Shields versus Jose Barrios, and now a balk called against Lopez.
Well, we talked about it before, and Paul Molitor was lobbying for it on the move, and now Ricky Renteria is saying, how are you going to let that guy in the other dugout dictate your call? And I'm sure Brian Ornora is mentioning, look, you got to step to first base. Regardless of what you do, you have to step there. And throwing across your body actually is a balk. So Molitor's lobbying last time, although it cost him a pickoff and out of the inning, gets him a runner at second base here.
Yeah, that step went to third first.
Yeah, you've got to step right to first base. You cannot step to third base and then throw to first. In fact, even with runners at first and third, they outlawed that this year.
And yet, it does not matter. First balk of Lopez's career ends the inning. Quickly gets the out. Pick any lake. There's so many of them here. Just get a boat, get a lake, have some fun. 2-0. memories. That doesn't mean gargantuan hitters have to have them. Giancarlo Stanton gets hit again by Mike Fiers after getting drilled in the face in 2014, and then Stanton hit his plunger for 456 feet worth of detonation against Mike Fiers, who may not want to hit that guy ever again. Ever.
No, he's a big guy that can probably outrun you and can do a lot of damage with the bat.
Stanton after the game said two things that seem to maybe be at odds. Number one, I'm not trying to stir this up. It is what it is. And the other one being, get the point. Don't hit me. Well, there's so much talk about, okay, well, if the star player on your team gets hit, then you have to go hit their star player. The other option is do better and hit the baseball really hard. As there's strike three. Anderson struck out by Romero.
I'm not a big believer in just throwing at somebody because they hit your guy, because pitches still and always will get away. And if it happens to be your star player, that's one thing. Now, if it is a purpose pitch, I mean, if something happened in the course of a game and you have to figure out, I don't say hit the guy, but you have to protect your players. You get a lot of respect if you protect them, but you don't want to endanger anybody's career. I think those days are gone, and justifiably so, because if you hit somebody and end their career, you're going to be carrying that with you the rest of your life. And a lot of managers just don't want you to hit the opposing player's best player.
It ends up leading to things that you don't want to be involved in, as there's out number two.
Well, look, I had a Hall of Fame manager with Baltimore. Earl Weaver was the man's name, and he used to tell us routinely, don't hit their guy, because what's going to happen is that team who's going to finish up the track, as opposed to our team who's going to be in the playoff hunt and most likely be in the playoffs, we're going to lose our number one hitter. They might throw at Eddie Murray, who was our star, who made the Hall of Fame, because you hit their guy. If we lose Eddie Murray for 2 or 3 months, that's going to hurt us doing what we wanted to do. And so he never told anybody to throw at anybody, and hated when you did. That was just his philosophy. And because he had a very good ball club, a contending ball club every year, he didn't want to lose his star players to some senseless beanball war.
And some managers, if they didn't say something, you'd say, well, that's just a tacit rubber stamp. But it sounds like you're saying Earl basically said, if you do this, I'm not going to be happy.
No, and that was his philosophy.
Late choice there by Adam. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sox with a Yoan Moncada homer in the first, and then a Jose Abreu 2-out RBI double in the 5th.
I think both managers are pretty happy with the starting pitching to this point, because they've taken it into the 6th inning. And with another game to follow about a half hour or so after this one, last thing you wanted to do was go into that pen early, even with the 26th man. In the case of our Sox, it's Juan Minaya who's come up to give a little insurance out of the pen. But you don't want to decimate that bullpen too early in the first game when you have to.
In the air left field, Grossman can't get there. Adam with a hit, and he squeals the brakes around first. 2 for 3 for Adam Engel. Now 6 of the last 12. He's got at least 2 hits.
Well, that shows you a man who looks completely different from the start of this season until now. Take a look at this pitch. It's low and away. He knows he cannot take it and leave the at-bat in the hands of Brian O'Nora. So he goes out, hooks it, drops it in front of Grossman, and it turns into gold. That's a good job of just defensive hitting, of making contact and not trying to do too much. If he pulls off that ball at all, it's a strikeout, and he was doing a lot of that early in the season. He's not doing it now.
Charlie Tilson opposite way, base knock. Adam quickly on his way to third. Grossman has no play. First and third for the Sox, 2 down in the 6th.
That ball is up, and that's why Charlie was able to just ease it into left field. If that ball is down, it's going to the left side on a ground ball. And Adam, with 2 out but reading it all the way, realizing Grossman, 1, doesn't have a good arm, and 2, cannot get to it quickly enough, so he goes into third base, where on a short pass ball or wild pitch he can score a much needed insurance run.
Here's Trace Thompson. It is not a mystery what the scouting report on Trace Thompson is from Minnesota. It's fastballs up for the most part today.
He hit it hard last time, but Kepler, on a ball slicing away from him, ran under it last inning.
One ball, one strike as the pitch count mounts for Fernando Romero, 92.
Well, the pitch count is mounting, but the velocity is decreasing, because he was throwing 97 when the game started, and now it's down to 94, 95. And so you'd have to believe that Paul Molitor's keeping a close look at it, as is Garvin Alston, the pitching coach.
Into the sky, right of center, and Lamar to end the inning. 2 hits, no runs, bottom 6. Sox still have the lead, 2-zip. Third, it's 1:10 p.m. and the first 20,000 get a White Sox cap presented by CIBC, banking that fits your life. Purchase your tickets right now by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME.
Ronaldo would probably like to keep the ball away from Dozier. Dozier last time saw the ball very well and hit it hard, but right at Anderson. You have to figure now for the third at bat, after seeing the ball so well last time, he becomes even more dangerous.
That misses 2-0. If there's anybody in Major League Baseball who is good at keeping people off the base, the third time through the order, it is Reynaldo Lopez. Third time he sees somebody in a game. Batting average against him is 119 compared to 267 as the league average. Typically there's a tax for leaving your guy in, at least currently in Major League Baseball. There's a tax for leaving somebody in the third time through the order, and that's not been the case for Lopez. He's been better.
And he's kept it to just 70 pitches, so he still should have a whole lot left. Same place for the fastball would be good. keeping it out away, forcing Dozier to go out and try to hook it.
3-1. It's downstairs, ball 4. It gets away. Dozier is not in a hurry, so the 4th walk for Lopez this afternoon. Time for Old Dominion bringing their best, and it's Eddie Rosario with 3 home runs in the last game against Cleveland. He's done it twice. Bob Allison did the first one for Minnesota, then Killebrew in '63, and then a big space between Oliva and Morneau in '73 to 2007. Eddie Rosario, a very good bad ball hitter.
A good changeup on the first pitch, and on the appeal to Chris Conroy, said he did not swing.
Those are all-star game numbers for Rosario right now.
There's no doubt about it. Right now, he would probably be their representative.
Off the plate, 2-0, and that's not necessarily where you want to pitch this guy, because look, Eddie Rosario, those 3 red marks are out of the strike zone. That's up and in, up and away, and down and away to the left-handed bat of Rosario. That's rare.
Well, what's really rare is watching the highlights of the 3 home runs. The first one he hit looked to be 6-8 inches off the plate outside, and hit it seemingly off the end of the bat. It wound up in those little bushes over the wall in left field. So he's got good plate coverage, and he's deceptively strong. Doesn't appear to be that strong a guy, but he can put a charge into it.
He's ahead 2-0. Dozier at first. Swing and a miss at 94, 2-1. First time all game the leadoff man has been on for the Twins. Two-one. That's inside, 3-1.
If it doesn't get him, you'd figure that Don Cooper would come out, have a talk, and the bullpen would start to go. But first things first. He's still in the middle of this at bat as Rosario puts his fingers over the knob at the bottom of the bat to get as much as he can out of that bat.
Runner was off. It's popped up. Sanchez is there. And that ball was drifting into foul territory. Dozier was still kind of lackadaisically going back to first, and there's really no value there.
No, there's nothing you can do if the ball drops except go back to the bag anyway.
You're going to end up there.
One way or the other, you're ending up there.
One down for Sano.
Sano's had a day of no contact, a walk and a strikeout.
How about a ground ball double play? Swing and a miss, 0-1.
Not going to find many ground balls on a slider, as he missed that one by plenty. Sano has grounded into 4 double plays this year.
And that's in pretty short time. He's missed a month.
Yep, only a little over 100 at bats.
Runner goes. Throw down to second is not in time. It's a stolen base for Dozier.
Just his 3rd of the year, and Dozier, who normally steals a lot of bags, has not stolen too many this year. He gets an exceptional jump and a good pitch to throw, but throws not near in time, and wisely Yoan keeping the tag on just in case a part of the body came off the bag, and it didn't.
First stolen base since April 18th for Brian Dozier.
Well, they're in a
that
tough...
was strike 3. I mean,
yep,
that's just a miss, and part of it had to have been that Omar was out of his crouch.
that happens sometimes. See, he wants the high strike, and could very well be that he blocked out Brian O'Nora. It was definitely a strike. There's no doubt about that, but it could very well be he didn't see it. That's why I don't like catchers getting up. Just put the glove up. Pitcher knows when it should be a high fastball.
It goes breaking ball and it's fouled away.
Anyway, the Twins in not necessarily a jam, but a difficult situation with Brian Dozier, who's going to be a free agent after this year, because as long as they stay in the race, they can ill afford to let Dozier go. However, if they fall out of the race, you'd have to believe that he is very valuable to move. And right now, no thought of moving him, as the Twins right there with everybody else in the division.
That was very close, but the reach made it not so. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Yeah, the Twins again are in kind of that no man's land where they were after that West Coast disaster of a road trip right before the trade deadline last year. They thought they were contenders, and they got run out of town on a road trip and decided to sell Jaime Garcia among others. 2-2. Tap foul.
So just barely able to stay alive on that slider. Well, he's not seeing the slider very well from Ronaldo. That's what it looks like now. Obviously, when I talk about everybody in it, the only 2 teams who can win it besides the Indians would be the Tigers and the Twins. The Royals are ready for their rebuild, and our Sox, we know what's happening here.
2-2 on Sano. That's outside. Dozier at second after a walk and stolen base. Three and 2 on Sano. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. He expanded the zone. Lopez douses him 2 away.
This slider is a little bigger break and a little softer, and Sano well out in front expands that zone again. He just can't see the slider. He can't recognize it, and consequently he's swinging at pitches that are just bad pitches.
So now an interesting spot with Escobar, who's got the lone hit today for the Twins. Then Kepler next, the left-hander who's hit lefties much better than righties this year.
Let's go.
Not suggesting you'd pitch around, but you don't really have to feed Escobar either.
No, you have to be careful with him. He's swinging it a whole lot better than Kepler is at this point.
You also have to believe the Sox have a good scouting report on Max Kepler, because he's just 1 for 19 in games against the Sox this year.
It could very well be that he wouldn't face Kepler if he doesn't get Escobar. Sox bullpen up and going.
High into the sky and foul. 1-2.
That is Luis Avilan. Good old number 42 today. There's a bunch of those.
It's a beautiful honorific tradition, but it also kind of feels like spring training a little bit too, because they're 50 number 42s.
Shadow's moving across home plate, and the visibility is decent right now, but it won't be in about 5 minutes.
A ball and 2 strikes for Escobar. Dozier at second. Check swing. He went around. Yes, he did. Strike 3. Second strikeout for Escobar. Lopez tiptoes through trouble in the 6th.
Coverage begins at 7. You can stream the game live on the NBC Sports app. It's like playing better baseball these days, and stick around for all or part of the nightcap. And we got a new pitcher in this game. It's Tyler Duffy. Duffy used to throw it very well, but this year, not so much. On for the 6th time, the ERA 8.64.
Former 5th-round pick in 2012 out of Rice and Wayne Graham's strong program. Yohan Moncada takes a strike. That game time for game number 2, of course, pending based on the 30 minutes after game number 1.
Yeah,
we'll see exactly when first pitch
right.
is.
This is a straight doubleheader, meaning it goes right after the first game with that break in the middle. This is only the 2nd time in the history of this ballpark that they're playing a straight doubleheader. Normally, when they play a doubleheader, because of the crowd size, they play a split doubleheader.
That's what the Sox did in Kansas City earlier this year.
Nice job by Romero. 6 innings, a couple of runs on 7 hits, no walks, 4 strikeouts.
Rolled to second and Dozier. Moncada now 2 for 4.
Duffy came up in 2015 initially. He was 5-1 that year with an ERA of 3.10, only 10 appearances. They were all starts. Then in 16, he was still a starting pitcher primarily. 9-12 with an ERA up there just about 6.5. And last year, shuttled to the bullpen where he was 2-3 and his ERA just a touch below 5.
Breaking ball just low to Sanchez.
This is a really good time to pitch because the hitter immersed in shadows and the pitcher and everybody else on the field in bright sunshine.
Dozier can't make the play. So 1-out single for Sanchez.
And the hitting streak continues.
It does. It's up to 8 now.
This one off the end of the bat, and Dozier just couldn't get to it. Tried to get there, but had the ball tip off the glove.
It's going to make both of us feel old, but Tyler Duffy, when he was growing up, he was a huge Greg Maddux fan, and he had Leo Mazzoni's books.
Really?
To learn pitching.
Jeez, you're kidding.
Yeah.
Well, Leo was a really nice guy. He was a teammate of mine, actually.
Yeah?
Yep. And he was a proponent of Johnny Sain, who was a pitching coach for a lot of different teams, but notably the White Sox when I played here the first time. Had a couple of good relievers to work with. Goose Gossage, the Hall of Famer, and Terry Forster, who a lot of people don't believe it, but had better stuff than Rich Gossage, but his back betrayed him and he just ran out of gas early.
You never got into it with Goose or anything, did you?
Oh, just once, but he was much bigger and stronger than I. So he won.
By technical knockout?
Well, yeah. Then he threw me in the locker, and that was about it.
Technical lockout. In the air, right field and foul for Abreu.
But that was a time when everybody on the road, or most everybody except the real stars of the team, had roommates. And Goose and I were roommates on the road. That was an adventure.
Really?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Got anything you can share even on cable?
No.
I didn't figure.
He threw hard. That I can share.
1-2. Jose fouls it off. So Abreu, the major league leader in doubles with 22 of them. He's one ahead of Eduardo Escobar. And Abreu continues to look like an all-star this year again for the Sox.
And that was a big at bat in the 5th inning. He came up with 2 outs and drove home Yohan Moncada, who had reached base, stolen a base, and then scored on the double. That added a little insurance, although not all that much, but it doubled the lead.
Reynaldo Lopez, 89 pitches And the Twins will have Kepler, Grossman, and Lamar coming up in the 7th. Flick to center field, and Ryan Lamar, who's got a hustle. Lamar does secure out number 2. Throw to first is late on Sanchez. What you were talking about, Goose Gossage, Terry Forrester, so we might as well quiz you on your career. Sticks and Stone, you played in a doubleheader in Minneapolis in July of 1980. Who struck out 3 times that day?
Oh, I'll just have to say Rick Sofield. I honestly don't remember that day. I don't think I got Kenny Landreau, but maybe. Pete McCannon, I think I drove him to be a good manager. So I'll stick with Sofield.
You will?
Well, yeah.
Who's your favorite of the 3?
Well, the only guy that I knew of the 3, I mean, know fairly well, was Pete McCannon. So did I strike him out?
Well, you may have at some point. I don't know if it's the correct answer. We have to figure it out later on. It's called a tease in the industry.
Oh, that's good. I like the industry.
Polka, big swing and a miss. 0-1. Daniel just rocked a ball his first time up, a double at 118 miles an hour plus.
Well, you can still see the fastball okay in this visibility, although it's not great. But you can't really pick up the spin on the ball. So a big breaking slider or a curveball now is going to be mystifying to most of these hitters. There you see what it looks like, and it's from a hitting standpoint, it's not great. From a pitching standpoint, you'd like every game to start this way and maybe keep it 6 or 7 innings like this visibility.
It's all about spin, right? And recognizing pitches in the shadows.
Yeah, I mean, because hitters will tell you they want to pick up that spin as quickly as possible. That helps them differentiate between a curveball, a slider, and a fastball, or a straight change if they can pick up the spin of that. But if you can't pick up the spin, you're going to take some very awkward swings.
Two balls and a strike on Polka. In his first major league time this year, former Minnesota Twin has shown to be a very dangerous hitter. Two and two. All right, was it Rick Sofield that he struck out 3 times in a twin bill in Minneapolis in 1980? Yes.
How about that?
Congratulations.
Thank you. That was a 33%er. That was my chances if I guessed one, and I guessed Rick.
The crowd's actually clapping, not for 2 strikes, but because you got it right. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah, they're all behind you, Steve. 2 and 2. Upstairs, 3 balls, 2 strikes. Tim Anderson next.
And Sano is telling Duffy that he's going to play off the bag, so don't go over there with a quick throw because he's not going to be there.
I didn't see that ball till late, and then I thought it was going to come up toward us.
No, I picked it up early.
You did?
I caught it right off the bat.
See, it's the shadows.
That's it. But I'm used to these shadows. Good visibility for me, bad for you. And don't worry, I will protect you, although we're not all that close here.
So you won't protect me, is what
No,
you're
I'll
saying?
try, but I'll come up short.
3 and 2, swung through, strike 3. Strikeout number 5 for Sox batters, but the Sox still hold the lead, 2-0. It offers exclusive content and much more. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. It's got everything you need at the ballpark except for the sunshine, and that's why you come to the games.
A lot of Sox fans here. Very short trip from Chicago. I talked with Ricky Renteria about Ronaldo Lopez, and he said he never wants to come out of any game. Every time he's ever asked him, he said, oh, sure, I can get this guy or I can get these guys. And so as long as he's feeling good and he's at 90 pitches, Ricky's going to leave him in. But the bullpen's up and going, and it's Nate Jones this time. So just in case he needs some help, Nate's out there ready to go.
High pop, foul ground, first base side. Abreu was hoping he'd have a play and doesn't. Upstairs. Lopez max pitches this year is 107. This one hit well right center field, and it's playable. Trace Thompson for out number 1.
Good communication between Engel and Thompson. Trace, with that ball being batted down somewhat, just signaled to Adam Engel that he was going to make the play rather easily, and he did. Right there, you see him hold up his hand saying, okay, I got this. Ronaldo thought it was hit a little better than it was, and it stays in the park by plenty. And the high glove clap.
That's become a staple for Ronaldo Lopez. 0-1 to Grossman, who was born in San Diego but went to high school in Texas. He went to Cy Fair High School. Same school that provided former Major League pitcher Woody Williams.
I remember Woody.
Very serviceable, and then some career.
He had a couple of very good years. Didn't throw hard, but threw it where he wanted to.
15 Major League seasons for Woody Williams.
Yeah, he was around for a while.
You eat up innings, and you're going to stick around some.
Throw strikes, take the baseball, and you will hang around.
1-2 upstairs. If you hadn't heard, Kevin Smith has rejoined the Sox up from AAA. Alfredo Gonzalez sent back down, and Matt Davidson activated. Matt Skoll to AAA. That off-speed pitch drifts outside. 3-2.
I would think we'd see Kevin in the nightcap. Pitch number 100 on the way.
Only 8 of those changeups so far, and the 3-2 is hit well center field, but not well enough for the Twins. Engel is there for out number 2. Head to the ballpark for $1 Hot Dog Wednesdays. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal. It's Wednesday, June 13th. It's the Sox and Indians at 7:10 p.m. Brought to you by Securian Financial, who can help you make every moment count. Find out more at Securian.com. For tickets, visit WhiteSox.com/$dogs today. That was number 100 for Ronaldo Lopez. And with 2 out, he takes aim at Ryan Lamar.
Has been unable to throw 3 strikes to him as he's walked a couple of times.
So Ryan Lamar comes into this game with 3 walks for the year. His last walk was legitimately the last time the Sox played the Twins back on May the 4th. And he's got 2 in 1 game. That's his line. It's easy to type in for Chris Kamka. Oh boy.
He just reached back and got everything that he had on that fastball at 96, but lost command of the zone. You would think one way or the other this would be it for Ronaldo. If he gets out of this inning, Ricky Renteria will credit him with a good solid 7 and go to the pen.
So Chris Kamka actually claims that there was one easier graphic to type in for Ryan Lamar. It was when it was 1 walk rather than 2. I stand corrected. 1 and 2. It's in the dirt. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Our one thing with Ricky for this game, which you'll hear coming up shortly, has to do with Ricky Renteria's idea of how to handle a bullpen in a doubleheader situation. He and Coop, the Brain Trust, coming together for that decision. That's hit on a line. Charlie Tilson is right there. A singed baseball, but a 1-2-3 inning nonetheless for Lopez. He claps and thanks the sky. 2-0.
Of Ronaldo Lopez, who was brilliant from start to, we believe, the finish. 7 innings, 1 hit, no runs, 4 walks, and 4 strikeouts. And what a job it was today, giving Ricky Renteria and Don Cooper exactly what they needed. Going deep in the ball game, making sure the pen is not decimated in the first of 2. And what a job, a bounce back after a tough time out last time.
When Ricky Renteria starts face touching,
then
the game is likely over.
You know it's a good one, and it's time to head to the locker room.
Ball and a strike on Tim Anderson, and a nice catch by a fan. By the way, Lopez today, average exit velocity against, which isn't everything, but it certainly is an indication of whether or not guys are squaring him up, was 82.5 miles an hour. Okay, so now you got the Ricky face touch and the Yolmer embrace. He's definitely done for the day.
Yeah, he's done. But what a job he did.
1-2 outside. Mostly fastballs again. 106 pitches, 69 fastballs.
Well, if we could throw 97, 98, we'd love our fastball also.
That is very true. Anderson out on strikes. 1 away. He looks like he could go out and throw another 30.
Well, as Ricky said, he never wants to come out of the game, but reality dictates once you get well over 100 pitches, give a clean inning to your pensman and hope that the pen holds it right there. And again, with this visibility, there's a good chance that they will.
One out, and Omar, who's 0 for 3. We told you about the Sox first-round draft pick earlier, Nick Madrigal from Oregon State, one of the top players in the draft class coming out, and the Sox got one of the great names of the draft in the 9th round a little while ago. It's a catcher out of Wichita State named Gunnar Troutwine.
That's an unusual name.
Yeah. Then they got the March King in the 10th round, Bennett Sousa, Virginia left-hander. On the ground, Dozier collects it. Sano the catch, 2 away. Game number 2 will tell you a little bit more about Steele Walker, the 2nd round pick for the Sox, 46th overall, the outfielder out of Oklahoma. Connor Pilkington was the 3rd pick, a left-hander highly thought of out of Mississippi State as well. The Sox have mainly gone for collegiate players through the first 10 rounds, a couple of high school draftees. Yeah, I'm told Chuck has an update after this half inning, and it may have something to do with
Steele Walker,
the White Sox draft.
Now that's shocking.
Hopefully it's not verbatim. The White Sox telecast update larceny continues. Two balls and a strike to Adam Engel. Well, we don't steal Chuck's sideline reports at home.
Not too often, anyway.
No, not nearly as much as we do his updates and Layla's updates and everybody's updates. 2-2 for Adam, who again has hit the ball well today at 2 for 3. '94, he got a piece foul. Two and two all over again. Chopper, third base side. Escobar's got a charge, and he does just nip Adam Engel. 1-2-3 inning for the Twins and Duffy. Bottom 8, Sox with the lead. 2-0 Sox, bottom of the 8th inning, and into the bullpen for the first time today for the Chicago White Sox.
Nate Jones comes in the ball game on for the 23rd time. It's our Lakeside Bank call to the pen. Lakeside Bank, it's about time, and it's about time for Nate to come in and seal one. ERA at 2.95. He's thrown it a lot better lately. And with this visibility, you don't want to be throwing a lot of pitches out of the zone. They will not see Nate's slider.
First pitch, a heater at 99.
That's, I think, the fastest pitch Nate's thrown all year.
I think so too.
So he must be feeling pretty good.
Adrianza at 98. 0-2. Now the slider, you'd imagine, or no?
I think I'd just as soon go with the high fastball.
Really?
Although slider would get the job done also.
You know, a sagely guy just said something about the shadows and the slider. It's a high fastball.
It is that. Now you can go with the slider.
Why couldn't you do it before?
Well, you could, but you didn't.
Right, but you just said that we could now. I've used your own terminology twice. You've told me that I'm wrong.
Well,
I'm out.
there you go.
1-2. There it is in the air to left field. Charlie Tilson for out number 1. Glad that's behind us. Here comes Wilson. We'll see if it is indeed Wilson. And he is going to be pinch hit for. Mitch Garver grabs a bat. So Wilson at 0 for 2 with 2 comebackers out. And there you see Matt Davidson, who's likely to play game number 2, just activated from the DL. Matt Scholes sent down to AAA among the other moves for the Sox.
And Garver is the hitting catcher of the 2.
.98 for a strike.
Couple of home runs. If he runs into one, it goes a long way.
Slider, 1 ball, 1 strike. To have nobody on for Dozier is a good idea because he is Mr. Run into one.
That would be a good game plan. He got 9 home runs this year.
Strike 2. What with the shadows, might want to go slider here. Swing and a miss. Strike 3 at 98.
Glad you're not calling pitches.
2 down.
This was a no chancer because the visibility isn't good anyway. And at 98, a little tardy on that one, and Nate in control.
For Brian Dozier, who's 0 for 2 with a walk and a stolen base. Ball 1, very close. Sox bullpen trying to preserve Lopez's shutout. Third base side, Sanchez recovers and no go. Had a chance. Abreu had it clang off his glove, and the tying run will come up with Rosario.
Silver did a nice job of making sure he kept his concentration after the bobble and still had a shot at it, but it did not stick in Jose's glove. Tries to come up with the hop as he cuts across to his left, still with a bare hand shot. Didn't get the kind of grip he wanted, and Jose cannot come up with it as it slips out of the glove. Jose a little unhappy with himself. Would have been a very good play if he made it. He did not. It's another hottest hitter in a game situation.
Called that a base hit. Rosario, ball 1.
That's kind of a gift, but
it's more than kind of a gift. It was bobbled once, a low throw that hit the glove,
Yep.
and still would have been an out.
It would have.
That's hit number 2 for Minnesota. Ball and a strike on Rosario. Well, if you do get Rosario, things actually worked out okay, because then you have Sano leading off the 9th.
All things considered, better than Rosario.
Two and one. Big rip at 100, 2-2.
Well, that was an absolutely perfect pitch to hit. Fortunately, maybe a couple miles an hour faster than Rosario would have liked it, but it was right down the middle. He took a great cut and fouled it straight back, meaning he was right on it, just under it.
You're not going to throw another fastball here then, are you?
I don't think I would. I think I would trust the slider. Just make sure that I got it in. We'll look in, and that's an inside fastball. That's an outside fastball. That is a slider. That's what Nate wants.
2-2 in the dirt.
Nice block by Omar.
So now Dozier will run.
Jose's going to move behind him at first base.
With the shadows approaching, Nate Jones is home. 3-2. Ball 4. 2 on, 2 out, Sano. He has been Mr. Boom or bust with 15 strikeouts his last 8 games, but some extra base power mixed in as well. This is Nate Jones's inning. 2 on, 2 out. Slider, strike 1.
I think if you stay with a slider, you're going to be okay. If you throw him a fastball, it should be show me, and it should be inside and out of the zone.
Nice block. 1 ball, 1 strike. Sano, in 10 at bats against Nate Jones in his career, has only struck out once. He's 2 for 10, and both hits have been homers. So a lot of balls in play, 2 home runs, 8 outs. Ball and a strike. Does he believe enough in the slider for a strike to throw it here?
I would certainly hope so. We'll see what Omar wants. Nate likes the call.
Oh, he got him to swing and miss at a ball not even close. 2-2.
It's a combination of the visibility and the fact that Sano pulls off that slider badly. If you can get it even close to the zone, you got him.
Dozier at second, Rosario at first. Jones in the light. Sano in the shadows. And he lays off 3-2. All right, what's your pitch?
Go back to another slider. Just keep it a bit higher.
Three balls, two strikes. In the zone, hit hard left field. Tilson gets there quickly. Dozier's coming home. Rosario is not. Safe at third. It's still 2-1. The Sox have the lead. The tying run 90 feet away.
That was a hanging slider that had too much of the plate as Don Cooper comes out now, giving him a tip about Escobar, who had the lone hit until this inning. He's trying to get it on the outside part, and Nate just leaves it over the inside part of the plate. In fact, the boys are very lucky this one did not go out of the park. Sano fortunately got on top of it, a sinking line drive, and Tilson gets it back in. The quick throw to third base, but Rosario back in under the tag. So just a one-run lead.
Boy, Charlie Tilson really helped keep that lead. He got there very quickly and made a quick decision to spin it back in. Rosario had some designs on coming home and couldn't. So Escobar.
Gene Glenn, the third base coach, had his word with Escobar and talking about that slider going in the dirt and the importance of a good secondary lead, especially with Sanchez well off the line at third base. You get a much better lead.
I believe that's Gregorio Petit pinch running at first for Sano.
He represents a go-ahead run, potential winning run, depending on what happens in the ninth.
Swing and a miss, and Omar finally finds the ball. That ball was not close to the bat of Escobar, and Omar breakdances on top of it.
That was a tough stop because that one was down and in, and you don't expect a fastball to be there when you're looking for it away. The fortunate part was it hit the leg of Brian O'Nora. If it doesn't hit his leg, it's a tie game. That was the biggest break of the afternoon so far.
So you got all these shadows. Can't be easy for the catcher either, right?
No, if the hitter can't see it well, the catcher certainly can't. And again, a little help from the leg of O'Nora. That could turn out to be a game saver if in fact the game is saved.
0-1 upstairs. Reynaldo Lopez, 7 innings of 1 hit ball. The Twins now have 2 hits in this, the 8th inning. Ball and a strike. Swing and a miss, 1-2. Escobar is not seeing it well at all.
That was a high slider out away from the plate, not even close, and he expanded his zone and swung at it with not even a hint of contact.
One ball, 2 strikes. Rosario at third, Petit at first. And Nate steps off. One and 2. Sprayed foul, first base side. One and 2. Jones to Escobar. In the air, center field. Angle back at the warning track. It's gone.
It's 11 home runs, 34 driven in, and Nate Jones gives up a blast. Our fourth home run replay, it's a fastball right down the middle, and Nate seemed to know it was gone when it left the bat. Of his 11 home runs, 9 have come from the left side, and Adamango giving it all he can, but that one is way back there, and that's going to be it for Nate Jones.
Well, a brilliant performance from Reynaldo Lopez turns south in the 8th inning. With 2 out and nobody on, the Twins score 4. And now it's the remainder of the Sox pen trying to keep it there. Avilan next.
On for the 26th time, so he's been a busy man. He's 2-0, ERA of 3.71. That's good. 19 strikeouts in 17 innings. That's good also.
Not the way Nate Jones envisioned. Dozier, Rosario, Sano, and Escobar. First 2 he got out. Next 4 reached and scored, and now it's damage control for Luis Avilan against a guy in Kepler who's hit lefties pretty well this year. Not typically in his career, but this season he's made a change. He's not hitting anybody very well though right now. He's 2 for his last 25, Kepler.
But with the change against the left-hander has really been remarkable for him, because that was a big concern.
By the way, this is game 1 of a doubleheader. Game 2 follows about 30 minutes after this one ends. Lucas Giolito on the mound for the Sox. Zach Littell for Minnesota in his major league debut. This is a fair ball.
I think it's
first.
I think it's a fair ball.
Bocce to first, and that should be out number 3, right?
I would think so.
Yeah, it is. I haven't seen any signal yet. Have you?
Well, look,
I thought that was a fair ball.
Brian Honora is looking for some help, and none of the umpires saw that it hit in foul territory. So it's going to stand, and the boys are going to come in, and Kepler's going to be there with his broken bat, and 0 for the day. We'll take another look.
I couldn't tell from that angle. You?
No, I can't, but maybe from this angle we can.
Huh.
Okay, let's see.
Yeah, it's a foul ball.
there's no doubt
Oh, boy.
it hit off his thigh. So he gets a thigh burger and an 0 for 1 in that at bat.
Okay. Well, stranger things have happened, but not by much. Minnesota does take the lead, not reviewable, 4-2. Guaranteed rate field. The space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and skill instruction. Chicago White Sox Training Academy coaches. While you're there, check out the latest Xfinity technology, including the X1 platform.
Fernando Rodney comes in the ballgame. He's the closer. He's got 12 saves and a pretty good year so far. Is on for the 22nd time. 12 for 15 in save opportunities, of which this is one. 19 strikeouts in 20 innings. He's always had a great straight change and always had a crooked cap. They're both trademarks.
They certainly are. He'll shoot an arrow at you every once and again, too. It's Charlie Tilson, Trace Thompson, Yoan Moncada. As that is called ball one. Rodney has given up one earned run since April 26th.
He's due.
Yeah. That's the ticket. 2-0. Charlie Tilson 6 for 23 this season since coming up before that last road trip to Detroit and Cleveland. That's called a strike. 2-1. Can make a pretty strong argument, by the way, that that play to end the bottom of the eighth should be reviewable. That foul ball at home plate, but Sox will take it. 2-2 for Tilson.
Well, we've talked about the visibility. It's tough for the catcher. It's very tough for the umpires. There was really no chance at all for Brian O'Nora to see that. The only hope he has was that either Sean Barber or Chris Conroy could have seen it. C.B. Buckner from center field, where he is a second base umpire, he wasn't going to see that. So, but nobody saw it. Kepler knew it, though.
Yeah. We certainly couldn't see it from behind home plate.
Not at all. The Max has a thigh burger and a little ground out for that effort.
Three balls, two strikes on Tilson. To second base, Dozier plays it along for round number one. Trace Thompson, then Yoan Moncada. Twins trying to win their 4th in a row. Reynaldo Lopez was sterling today. 7 innings, shutout ball, 1 hit. He did walk 4. He struck out 4. Basically nobody squared him up all day long.
No, when you take a look at his body of work and you marvel that he has just the lone win. 1-4 with a no D today. That ERA very close to the low 3s in 12 starts. All things considered, he should have won probably 3 more games.
That's a strike. Settling in on the corner to Thompson. Don Cooper shakes his head. To shortstop and Adrianza. This game of 27 outs would sometimes be more pleasant if it were 22. However, that's not the case.
Rodney has been around a long time. 312 major league saves. His high water mark. 48 of them in 2012 with Tampa Bay.
2 out. Moncada takes a strike. Just a steady right hand out of that bullpen, Fernando Rodney.
That's a real good changeup, and nobody's going to hit that. Not with this visibility or any visibility. That's what's kept him in the league all this time.
Two out, 2 strikes. Fouled away. Moncada got on it enough. Yohan led the game off with a home run on pitch number 2. Can he keep it alive in the 9th? Tough day for Ricky Renteria and the Sox. They got everything they could have asked for out of Reynaldo Lopez. And just short of the finish line, the Twins flip the game. 2-2.
Well, you would think the changeup would be forthcoming, but it's something you can't look for because he's throwing 95, 96. Sit and look for the change. The fastball is going to freeze you. But that's really been the big pitch for Rodney over the course of these many, many years. So we'll look in. That is the change.
Fouled away, too close to take. Two and 2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. He handcuffed him inside, and an archery lesson unwanted. Twins win 4-2.
When you lead one most of the way and see it slip away, it's a very difficult loss to take. It's exactly what happened here in the opener of this doubleheader. Better luck in the second game, and don't stray too far. It's a short turnaround, and we'll see you then.
Yeah, it's going to be about half an hour after right now as the Twins win 4-2 with a 4-run 8th inning. It was 2 out, nobody on, and the Twins somehow rained on the Sox parade. We say farewell for